Immigrants overrun New York City, paving the way for Trump 2024 win over Biden. Here's a clip.
Eric Adams basically describes the apocalypse for New York City due to a wave of illegal immigrants in a shocking video saying, we're done. 10,000 illegal immigrants per month. And he does not see a solution to the problem. It's fascinating.
Even Eric Adams seems like he's like moving to the right in a way. On this issue anyways. He's done.
Because a viral tweet has emerged in which Eric Adams said that New York will always be a sanctuary city.
Yeah, good one. How'd that work out for you?
It's fascinating. People who live on the borders and who live in rural areas are experiencing these problems.
It's a joke.
Are talking about the problems of mass illegal immigration. And in big liberal bastion cities, they say, oh, you're overreacting, and they resist.
Yeah. What do you think now?
The governors of these states start sending the illegal immigrants to the sanctuary saying, fine, if you're happy with it, if you like what's going on, we'll send them your way. And oh no, now New York is doomed.
Really. Yeah, now you care.
It really is fascinating. People who don't experience the problem, celebrate the problem, mock you for it. If only there was a solution, perhaps some kind of physical structure that would inhibit, slow down, or prevent illegal immigration into this country. If only there was a man who had proposed such a structure. You get it. Walls aren't perfect.
Yeah.
Fences aren't perfect, but
not
they're
perfect.
Deterrents.
Yeah.
The left likes to post these videos of people cutting through the bollard fencing, and it's like, that's not an argument against walls. It's an argument for more walls.
Yeah.
Donald Trump famously wanted to build that wall, a big, beautiful wall, 30 feet tall.
It's like if someone's breaking into your house and they're like, well, the locks don't work. Might as well just not lock my door. No, you get better locks. You get a better door. You get a security system. You don't just go and stop like in a security alarm. You get cameras. You don't just be like, just whatever. They're just going to break in no matter what. So might as well just not even try. That's basically what they're saying.
I'd see. And instead, we got bollard fencing. In some areas, triple layered. Did secure key areas that were problematic. And so I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can get. In fact, now it appears that even Joe Biden is still, because of course they would be, shoring up some of the border security.
Yeah.
But it's still a big problem.
Yeah. And I mean, he says that, but this comes the same day as a federal judge, because of a Biden administration lawsuit, just said, no, Texas, you can't have the buoy wall anymore. That's in the Rio Grande. So, okay, he says he's shoring up security, but how so? It doesn't seem like it. It just seems like it's going backwards.
Now we get to see not a story about hypocrisy, but a story of ramifications.
Mm-hmm.
And for all of you Democrats in New York City, you voted for this and you deserve it. However, you don't deserve what happens next if you adapt and address the issue. If you change your voting patterns, if you reject these policies, if you actually pay attention for once, then you deserve better. But if this is what you vote for, this is what you deserve. I want to play for you the clip in question. We have this from NYC.
Even past voting, it's like the rhetoric. You want to go and say you can't be on the right if you're part of a certain community. I covered this last week about a Latino woman. She wanted to leave. She's from Texas, a Republican county. I think she's an attorney there. I can't remember exactly. But she's switching to Republican, and she said she wanted to do it for a while. But people would shame her. Oh, you're Latina, and you're supposed to be on the left. So, I mean, that type of rhetoric, too. You got, like, if you know someone that's like that, but they hate this, all the policies, you even past voting, you got it. The whole culture has to change. It has to be like, no. It's fine to be on the right. It's better to be on the right because look at the policies that are on the left. Really, it's probably best to be in the middle to some extent, but you get my point. These super leftists that want all this, the migration, the welfare, the bigger government, that type of, it's not good.
Dog. It is Mayor Eric Adams telling everyone this is the apocalypse. And I want to stress what this means. Trump is right now projected to win. If the election happened today, analysts believe Trump would win. Although in the polling, it is a statistical tie between Trump and Biden. Trump has the edge, the margin of error being around 3%. Trump is up by 8%. So we don't know for sure. But the way things are trending, even CNN points out Never in 2019 or 2020 did we see a poll where Trump was ahead of Biden in this way. So take a look at what's happening to Democrats who have mocked the right, mocked Trump, and mocked Republicans.
Support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this.
Wow.
I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
It already is.
Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just in Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We had a $12 billion
you didn't know this before.
Deficit that we're going to have
$12 billion.
to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us. And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs live in this community. So as you ask me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? How many of you were part of the movement to say, we're seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City? It's going to come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000. I'm telling you now, with 110,000.
Wow.
The city we knew.
Doubled.
We're about to lose. And we're all in this together. All of us. Staten Island is saying, send them out to Manhattan. Manhattan is saying, send them out to Queens. Queens is saying, send them out to Brooklyn. No. It's not the game we can play.
This is costing money, more money, sending them around.
This is basically the announcement that Donald Trump is going to win.
Yes.
Okay, look, I don't know what happens in the next year.
Could you imagine if Trump got New York because the mayor is starting to talk about this? New York City? That would be wild.
A lot can change. But Ann Coulter was talking about how immigration is on the ballot. And ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it right now.
Of course it is.
Hers, for whatever reason, you like or dislike her. The point she made was immigration's on the ballot. I think she's right. I don't know to what, she said it was the principal issue, perhaps.
It probably will be. It's just going to keep getting worse.
From Eric Adams. We should protect our immigrants, period. Yes, New York City will remain a sanctuary city under an Adams administration. October 20th, 2021.
That didn't age well.
You deserve it. Every sweet word emitted from your mouth, Eric Adams, you deserve everything happening to you. And everyone in that city deserves everything that comes next. Austerity measures, severing of services. Oh boy. You mock and you insult, not just Donald Trump.
Yeah, they thought Texas would handle it.
But anybody who has the gall to say, this is a problem. And now you're experiencing it. They've done you the favor. And you hear what he said about what these people are doing to us? The city you love will be gone. Wow. Some of the most vile white supremacist rhetoric I've heard in a very long time. Blaming those people, Eric Adams? Oof, heavens me. Whatever, man. That's one of the reasons I leave New York City. I don't know, bombs were going off and people were rioting, so I was like, probably don't want to be here.
Yeah, and a lot of other things.
That's an understatement. And it's already a heavily taxed city. One of the few cities with its own income tax. Meaning, if you live in New York, you've got federal, state, and city income tax. Why? To pay for all of the problems they create. But by all means, people, keep living there. Because if you're happy, then fine, so be it.
I guess if you're happy,
it's going to be real interesting real quick. It already is. From the Daily Mail. Speaking to furious residents at a town hall meeting on Wednesday, he admitted he doesn't see a solution to the problem as he slammed the lack of help from Joe Biden. Never in my life
He wants
If I had a
this.
problem that I did not see an ending to, well, that's too bad. Authorities are concerned that without an exit ramp,
Maybe if he didn't see the beginning either. He's like, a problem I didn't see the ending to. It's like, you didn't see the beginning of the problem either. This was obviously going to happen. But like I said, these mayors, they don't think anything's going to come to them. They're like, Texas can handle it. I'm just doing the leftist thing. I'm going to get votes. I'm going to become a mayor. That's what he thinks. He didn't anticipate Texas going like, oh, no. Okay, fine. You take them. You guys take them. We can't afford it either. Why should we have to raise taxes on our citizens when we're actually trying to build the wall? And the Biden administration and other leftists and stuff with their talking points like Gavin Newsom and from governor of California talking trash about Texas and everything. Fine, you guys deal with it. Why should our citizens have to pay for what you guys want? And again, the border wall was already funded, and they're just sending off materials for pennies on the dollar. So build the wall, and we wouldn't have to worry about this. Like Tim was saying earlier, that walls aren't perfect, obviously, but it's a huge deterrent. A huge deterrent. And the whole rhetoric of being able to come here with asylum seekers. What is it, 3 years? It's like you get 3 years to go into an asylum case, and 75% of the asylum seekers get denied asylum. So they just come here for 3 years for basically no reason. It's not good for anybody. Do you know how bad they must feel when they have to go back to their home country? They must feel terrible. It's like, I've been here, I've been homeless, I've been sleeping on the streets this whole time for 3 years trying to learn English, trying to get by, and now I just have to go back? The rhetoric that these coyotes, these smugglers send these people is awful. And considering how easy it is for these guys to get in, I could see why these people from these other countries think they can. But no, they should be like, no, you can't get asylum. We don't do that anymore. Like, plug all of that up. The left and the right should just agree with that. Plug all of it up. But they don't want to. They want to just go in their rhetoric like Mayor Adams is doing, and it's like, okay, no, I'm going to get votes from it. It's going to be great. But yeah, now you can see the problem and why people for this whole time were like, hey, build the wall. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. Yeah, we want people to come here, but come here legally, so we can figure out the situation so everything's not getting overran. But that's not what happened. And the left just said, come, and they did. And now here's the ramifications for it. Even though Texas is sending all these migrants up there, they're still out here, and we have to deal with like border security. A bunch of our police have to go get redirected, National Guard, to the border. It is wild, and all that tax money. And I think it's funny because the winter storm, they're like, Texas sucks, Texas sucks, Texas sucks. Look at the infrastructure, look at the power failed, and all this stuff. And it's like, well, we can't go and upgrade the power and put federal or state government funding towards this stuff because the border. It's just like they want to mock Texas for everything. Oh, you're sending your migrants up there and you can't afford it because you have all these migrants, but then you can't also do the power grid. Oh, you guys suck. It's just like, now look at New York. They're cutting every single one of their services are going to get cut to some extent. Now you know how it is. It's not easy when you have to deal with all this stuff that the feds are supposed to be dealing with. You know what I mean?
Situation could soon reach boiling point as furious protesters have clashed on the streets of the 5 boroughs, while more migrants are left homeless by the limited space.
It's wild.
You see, these people, they voted against securing the border. They mocked it. Ocasio-Cortez lied left and right.
And people voted
about
for
what
her.
was really going on the border. Concentration camps.
Yeah. Did they not realize like people that vote for Cortez and for Adams, like I've said, these type of things, it has an impact. Cortez, you voted for her, she's in Congress, and then Congress has sway to go and change this stuff. But nope, go vote for her. Open borders, and now this is what you get. I don't mean to sound harsh. I'm not going so in on like Tim's trying to be here. Like, you deserve every little bit of it. I'm going to be a little bit more friendly about it, but you can change it. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, if you did, people, I hope are realizing like who you vote for has some consequences, even locally. They just think, okay, check L or R on the ticket, and then that's it. No. You should go find out your primary. People in the primary are primary, city council, mayor, everything, and then learn who they are. It has consequences. The people just think, oh, it's president. I'm going to go and support the president. And then, okay, well, you can put all the eggs in that basket, even though you don't even know who they are. then you get this.
All voted for her. So let me just say, I am left with no endless pleasure when I say this is what you voted for. And it brings me a schadenfreude satisfaction to see you now reap what you have sown. Okay, I'm a reasonable person. I hope that the experience you are having results in you all waking up and
That's
saying,
what I'm saying.
Perhaps we need to stop this. Maybe you'll consider
you have the
voting
power
out
to do so.
Ocasio-Cortez, who was in favor of these immigration policies. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah, me
It's
either.
simple. I'm just going to choose not
Who
to
knows,
live in
though?
that state where
Who
a
knows,
bunch
though?
of
It's getting bad.
ill-informed egotists vote for policies that destroys everything around them and then blames everyone else. They call it the locust effect. They come into New York, they vote for nonsense based on nonsensical things, emotional reasons, hatred. They bring in policies which destroy their city. Then they move out to areas where you have maintained things, vote for the same policies again, ravage and gut and destroy.
Yeah, it's wild. I have this story I've told before, but it's really interesting. I live here in Austin. I was getting my hair cut downtown. I live near downtown. And I overheard this guy talking to another stylist, and he was just like, yeah, I'm from the Bay Area. It's gotten so bad there. And then she's like, oh, really? Why? And he's just like, I've lived there my whole life, and it's really changed. Oh, what changed about it? Oh, everyone's just such an elitist because, that it's such a tech hub and everything. I've just started snickering. I'm thinking, like, that's what you're worried about? It's funny. I told my Uber driver about that on the way back, and he's just like, "Yeah, that's insane. All those problems that they have." And we got more specific with YouTube and everything. But yeah, and that's like, you don't realize this. What are you doing in Austin? Luckily, I hope I think he's just visiting or staying here short term. But man, it's like, don't move to Austin if that's what you think. It's like, stay in San Francisco. Don't be worried about the elitists. It's fine. Just stay there.
Locusts eating all of your crops from one crop field to another. The people who live here are going to flee the crisis they've created. They're then going to vote for the exact same policies that brought the crisis in the first place. Welcome to the cycle.
Yeah, it's wild.
The city has a legal obligation to give shelter to those who make their way to the metro, and Adams has desperately turned to a variety of city landmarks, makeshift shelters, and temporary housing as short-term solutions. Almost every decision he makes over the issue has caught the ire of New Yorkers. I'm sorry. This is just so awesome. New Yorkers who vote 4-1 for the Democrats are now angry about it. You're angry about voting for a mayor who outright said you will be a sanctuary city. You got what you voted for.
You got what you wanted.
I'm chilling. It's not just New York. Take a look at this from the Daily Mail. Hundreds of migrants are hidden behind a black curtain at Chicago's O'Hare Airport as desperate families are left sleeping on the floor for up to 10 days after being flown in from Texas. I love this. I absolutely love this. Take a look at this story.
Okay, that makes
Federal
sense.
judge orders Texas to remove floating border barrier. Abbott immediately appeals the ruling. You can't blame Texas. Texas is actually trying to stop the migrant crisis.
Yeah.
Trying to create a barrier to prevent the flow of illegal immigration. And a federal court said no. Thanks, Joe Biden. Thank them all. All the Democrats
they're the ones who
voted
sued. The Biden administration
So
sued.
all I can really say is maybe the suffering you are enduring right now will wake you up to the problem that is uncontrollable mass illegal immigration. To me, I'm of the opinion that everybody in the world should come to America. Every single person, every human being everywhere should come to America. Now, hold on there a minute. It's got to be done legally, through a legal process, which means fill out the paperwork, wait till we have proper economic placing, and of course that actually...
Yeah, and then also maybe vote in your own country how you would want America to be. It's always so broken to me. People are like, we want to come to America because it's so capitalist and so awesome, and then they come here and a lot of people want to be socialist. This is the socialist experiment. You want to help everybody. You want to give stuff to everyone, whoever wants to come here. Well, this is what happens. It's just not realistic. It falls apart. Then how you can't pay for everything. Math is math. It's just like you only have so much money. There's only so much wealth to go around. That's like Tim saying you bring people in slowly. Otherwise, this is not going to work out for anyone. And like I just said, vote for, it's crazy that socialism is so huge in Venezuela and stuff. And then what's the biggest country that migrants come from right now? It's Venezuela. It's like, you guys voted for all this. If you wanted America so bad, why don't you vote for candidates that want to be more like America? You have the power to vote in these countries. You know, like, wake up to this stuff. Everyone around the globe needs to wake. And that's baffling to me. I'll repeat it one more time. Like, people want to come to America, but then they vote. They want to come to America so bad when their country gets bad because of socialism. But then the candidates are like, hey, we don't want to be like America. We want to be like socialism. Then, okay, then socialism happens, and then they run to America. It's crazy. They can't vote, so they're not supposed to anyway, so I doubt they're voting for socialism. But you could just see people on the left that do like socialism. Look at people are fleeing from socialist countries, and then look at what socialism's doing to your country or your city, all of it, because now you have to pay for all these people. Socialism doesn't work at all.
Migration would probably go down to a certain degree, especially the illegal immigration. But what I mean to say is, if you want to come here, apply. We'd love to have you. We've got to find out where it makes sense for you to go. We can't just let people randomly come into this country through the southern border that's open, because that results in crime and drug trafficking and human trafficking.
And just overflowing.
A lot of people coming through are just looking for a better life, and I absolutely respect that.
Again,
America's awesome.
Should have voted for
There's a reason why we have a process.
Better
Imagine if
politicians
everybody
in your own
was
country,
trying
though.
to rush to the counter of McDonald's to order a cheeseburger. Nobody would get to. It would be bedlam. People would start leaving. That's why we form a queue, so we can take turns and do everything in an orderly way so that we can all benefit fairly.
Yep.
The people jumping the queue and coming into the country are just causing problems. They're trying to reap benefits without playing by the rules.
They're just living on the street
awful.
anyway.
That is despicable.
They're living on the street.
And so I got to
It's
tell
not good for them either.
the people from Central America who are coming to this country, from these various countries that Eric Adams mentioned, I have infinitely more respect for than many of these lefty Democrat types that are burning the country to the ground. Because at the very least, the people coming here believe in the American dream. These leftists hate America. They're probably gloating.
Some of them burn their own country to the ground, and they want to come here next.
That Texas, let me read this quote. Governor Abbott announced that he was not asking for permission for Operation Lone Star, the anti-immigration program under which Texas constructed the floating barrier. Unfortunately for Texas, permission is exactly what federal law requires before installing obstructions in the nation's navigable waters. Federal District Judge David A. Ezra wrote in his order issuing a preliminary injunction to remove the barrier. Yeah. In Arizona, they set up a bunch of shipping containers to create a makeshift wall. And they were instructed to remove those as well, because the Biden administration is trying to intentionally destroy this country. Look, man.
Yeah, why not let the states do it?
I try to give people the benefit of the doubt when I can, but there is no logical reason to stop the border barriers in Arizona or here in Texas. Now, don't get me wrong. With Texas, like, oh, okay, they're blocking navigable waters. That doesn't explain why they're trying to shut down the wall itself, why they resist it, and why they're allowing this to persist. It doesn't explain why they have the policy of letting them come in and then flying them around the country. It doesn't explain why Joe Biden's administration was smuggling children on planes. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Taking illegal immigrant children, putting them on planes and flying them across the country.
They don't even know if they were with their real families or who they. It's
Texas
awful.
And Florida and Arizona, those states.
With kids, it's really bad. So what they'll do, because of the asylum, they'll come in with a guardian, whatever, and they'll be like, where's your family? And then they fly or bus these people to like a sponsor. They don't have to be related. They don't even know if they're their family. They don't know who they are. So they'll take these kids, send them to these sponsors, and then they work in indentured servitude. And they're basically slaves to these people. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And the left, when they hear this stuff, they're like, no, that's not true. It's like, look into it. It's pretty easy. So you're like all these open border policies to help people. It's awful. You're creating all these extremely messed up situations for kids. Extremely. They're like undescribable. Because you have some stupid agenda, and then these criminals can just come in and just do all this. It's nuts. And then the people that are legit that come in with their kids or whatever, they're all sleeping on the streets or in airports. They're not getting jobs. That's a part of the legal process. You can go and get an employment visa to come work. You can solely learn English, and then it makes it way easier to get employment in the United States. If they just come in here, they don't have a weird work visa or anything, and they can't work. It's like they just live on the streets. It's just awful. So no one is winning in this situation. No, I don't know who's winning. The criminals. That's it. These awful criminals that do this stuff to these kids. That's who's winning. Everyone else everyone's losing.
States can do is say, fine, if you want illegal immigrants to come to your city, your sanctuary city, we'll send them to you.
Yeah.
But now look at the crocodile tears.
It's still so bad, though. I'd rather them just not come in.
But let's talk about where this goes. I hope you enjoy this one from CNN.
Within the margin of error, no clear leader. Donald Trump, 47%. Joe Biden, 46%. They're basically in a statistical tie. But what I will note was there was not a single poll conducted by CNN during the entire 2020 cycle in which Donald Trump got a higher share of the vote than Joe Biden did.
That's
so
wild.
This is a vastly different picture from what we saw 4 years ago.
That is some very interesting context in all of this. What it means, we will see.
What it means is...
Yeah, that's really interesting. I have a friend who leans right. He's kind of like Ron DeSantis because he thinks Trump's going to go to jail. So imagine if Trump wasn't getting indicted. It's probably, I know it's boosting his poll numbers, but at the same time, I don't know. He might even have more supporters if he wasn't getting indicted, because that guy is just like, hey, he's probably going to go to jail. I'm like, I don't think he's going to go to jail. But I see his point. That's why he doesn't support him. Ian Crossland, the guy from Timcast IRL, Tim's other nightly show, he says the same thing. He's just like, what if Trump goes to jail? I can't support him in case he goes to jail. So my point is, his poll numbers would probably even be higher. But it's hard to say, because my support for Trump was waning earlier in the year. He was just, been there, done that. I get it. But, it's kind of just the same thing over and over again. And then he got indicted. And then he became very, very interesting to me again. It's just like, you can't just go and do this, make up charges and stuff, because look at the precedent it's gonna set. And now with like the mug shot and everything, it's like really entertaining, So, yeah, I wanted Dave Smith to win, the Libertarian. I thought, he's been on Rogan and Timcast and stuff. Look him up. You'll probably recognize him. But people are talking about him running for the Libertarian nomination. I thought that if Trump didn't get indicted, my thought was Dave Smith could go on that debate stage. I've heard him debate people about Trump, and he does a really good job. So he would have really good points against Trump, really good points against Joe Biden. I was like, he might pull votes from both and actually end up winning. And I thought the media would show crazy for Dave Smith because they wouldn't think he would be able to win. Third-party people never win. But I think Dave Smith was articulate enough and everything. He could have pulled it off. He's such a good speaker and good debater. He's really logical and he's really entertaining in his own right. He's a comedian, stand-up comedian. So yeah, he's really sharp. So I thought he could pull it off. But that once Trump got indicted, that first indictment in New York, I was like, oh no. Now I don't even think Dave should even win, because people, even if Dave comes in here and goes on the debate stage and does a really good job against Trump and points out his flaws, people are just going to vote for Trump because of the indictments and the precedent that it's going to set. So yeah, it's very interesting. If they wouldn't have indicted Trump, it probably would have just went better for them. But they were so scared of winning. And like I said, though, they don't think Dave Smith can win. I thought he could, but like at that scenario I just laid out, but they were so scared. They're like, no, we're not giving that a shot.
Right now, Trump will beat Biden. It doesn't mean that it's a guarantee. It means as of right now, if the election were held today, Trump wins. Why? Trump lost by only 42,000 votes in 3 states. You think polling now above Biden for something CNN says never happened in the 2020 cycle? Yeah. I think it is a fair assessment to say if the election happened right now, Trump wins.
Yeah.
I think immigration plays a huge role in this.
I think it's just going to get better for Trump because of the immigration.
The New York Times writes, consistent signs of erosion in Black and Hispanic support for Biden. It's a weakness that could manifest itself as low Democratic turnout, even if Trump and Republicans don't gain among those groups. Bingo. They say Mr. Biden leads Trump by just 53% to 28% among registered non-white voters in a compilation of Times Siena polls from 22 and 23, which includes over 1,500 non-white respondents. The results represent a marked deterioration in Biden's support compared to 2020 when he had more than 70%. So let's consider this. Trump doesn't gain with these communities. There's a lot of arguments that Trump's doing better in the black community, and they said the same thing last time around. But if Biden loses, well, there you go. If Biden is losing support among these groups, and he is precipitously, Trump doesn't.
I think the left in general is
42,000 votes. That's all Trump needed. Okay, let's say Biden loses 30,000, and Trump only gains a few thousand. I mean, look, if Biden loses by 40, if Biden loses 42,000 votes, Trump won. Trump does not need a single new supporter if Biden loses.
But he's gaining them like crazy anyway.
So this is why they are pulling out all the stops, and they're trying to remove Trump's name from the ballot. We talked about this last night. Now Colorado, Arizona, New Hampshire, Florida. I don't see it happening in Florida. New Hampshire is a debate between certain Republicans. Should be interesting. We'll see.
They don't go to the Supreme Court,
Arizona, maybe. We'll see what happens. Now, across the board, the AGs are saying, like, no, we can't do this. But the lawsuits are coming. They are going to try everything in their power to steal political power.
Yep.
That's the scary nature of where we're currently at. Earlier this morning, I did a segment about Owen Schroyer. He was outside the Capitol.
Yeah, I'll cover that tomorrow.
The grass, so he's been criminally charged. And they said his speech is a factor in why he deserves to go to prison.
Outrageous.
Before, during, and after. That's right. His protected speech after the event, where he celebrated to a certain degree. He said he said something like, to a certain degree, we should be proud. I certainly disagree, but he's allowed to say it.
Yeah, what?
And that's justification for him to go to prison.
To go to prison.
Yeah, a lot of people are frustrated to see this, but you need to understand the most important factor here. The reason they are engaging in this behavior is because Trump is winning. And they know exactly what happens should a man like Trump get reelected.
Oh, yeah.
I have to imagine
especially
Trump's going to
now.
want revenge.
Yes.
They're saying that in his criminal trial with the national security documents, Trump will be testifying in his own criminal case. Now, typically, you're not supposed to do that.
Interesting.
Don't testify.
Yeah, Trump would do a great
Sometimes
job,
people
though.
do. Rittenhouse
He'll convince
Trump
a jury.
wants to because Trump wants to rally. Trump knows that him speaking in his defense will be one of the most powerful speeches or statements he ever gives. Sitting in a courtroom, being asked a question by the defense counsel, his lawyers, and then him being able to say what he wants to say. When it comes to the election charges from from Georgia and the federal government, which is coming out of D.C., I think that Trump and his lawyers are looking at it like, well, we will now be able to adjudicate the claims made in court for the American people to hear.
Yep.
That's partially why I think they're like, okay, we'll come in and we'll surrender. Trump and his team, these people being charged, have been trying for a long time to get their claims heard in open court. And it's going to be very interesting when the defense says, here's evidence of voter fraud sworn under oath and signed affidavits in a criminal proceeding. I wonder how
that should be really interesting.
In the meantime, outside of all of that,
it's just backfiring on them.
Look at the things they're doing.
It seems like they have a strategy.
Going after Trump supporters. It's because they know when Eric Adams comes out and says this city will fall and there is no solution moving forward, and I don't know
they're going to vote for Trump, and Biden won't help them. Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of people.
Why would they vote for Biden again? People in New York. Eric Adams is openly talking all the time. I'm asking Biden for help. He won't give us any. Same thing with Mayor Johnson in Chicago. They're like, we're begging the Biden administration for help, and they don't give them anything. So they're out there for the next year. They're going to be out there telling everybody this. All their constituents. Don't blame me. Blame Joe Biden. So even if they might just not vote, even if they don't vote for Trump. And yeah, he's definitely going to come after him. And it's crazy because the first time around, Trump didn't really know who to believe, right? He's just like, okay, this guy says he's good. This guy says he agrees with me. He says he supported me. Okay, awesome. But now, after 4 years of them trying to indict him and everything, and they didn't even know he's going to run again. Look at Ron DeSantis, what he did. He went against him. Brian Kemp, the Georgia governor, he's went against Trump. He said there's no evidence to investigate Fannie Willis, the prosecutor who's bringing all these charges, even though they're going after lawyers abusing attorney-client privilege, but there's no evidence. So, but now Trump knows. Now he can be like, okay, all of my lawyers that are helping me with these election fraud cases, like Rudy Giuliani, he's probably going to be the next attorney general, if I had to guess. Giuliani is. He's stuck with Trump like this, like crazy. And these other people that have stood by him, like Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and stuff, they're probably all going to be in his cabinet, and they're all going to be at the top just trying to take all of this out. Where, again, last time when he said, okay, we're going to take the deep state out and stuff, people would just lie to him. They'd be like, okay, we're doing this, but they wouldn't do it. Now he knows who's on his side, so they should be very interesting. And yeah, then being able to show this in open court now, it's wild. It just seems like they're going after Trump so bad, and it's just everything is just backfiring on them. It's really, really fascinating to see. It's like when people say they're panicking. It really does seem like they're panicking. They think Trump's going to win again, or they know he's going to win again. So they're just like, we have to do anything. But then, you know, what happens when you panic, you know, like if you're drowning and you panic, you drown faster. So, yeah, and you drown for sure. Where if you just chill and swim and wait for a rescue, you're going to conserve energy. And you can survive, but you start floundering and just freaking out, pushing people down when they're trying to save you because you're in such a panic. Yeah, you're not going to make it. I think that's what they're doing.
Say, I'm not voting for these people anymore.
Yep.
For one, you're going to get woke, crazy people who say that Adams is scapegoating migrants. I won't vote for him. Okay.
Not very.
You're going to get regular working class people who are going to be like, this is a huge problem and someone's got to deal with it.
When all the services start shutting down.
And you'll see a marked shift towards Trump or anybody willing to address illegal immigration.
Yep.
And this means the Democrats cannot win. And it means they can't win in the conventional sense, but with mass ballot harvesting and dirty games, perhaps. The shadow campaign to save the election, they said. I believe that if you were to have a single day of voting, paper ballots, Trump would win by a healthy sum. But we don't have that. The Democrats keep changing the rules, expanding voting and saying, oh, it's about...
I don't even know if it'll matter this time, though.
Yes, spare me, dude. The
Trump almost won last time.
We have an election day.
And they had all that.
And we should have paper ballots. The problem, and there are challenges across the board, right? But paper ballots can get lost. You know, there's a debate between Mike Lindell and others about universal mail-in voting and things like that. Sure, you can get a batch of votes for Trump that disappear and a batch for votes for Biden appear. Who knows? Who knows? I will say one of the big problems that we have in our elections is that we have a proprietary company. We have proprietary software, a company with proprietary software in the voting machines. We don't know what those voting machines do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I reject that.
There's been a lot of weird stuff from the left.
Timcast, that source code needs to be released to the public.
Before 2020, a leftist organization, I think it was in Georgia, but don't quote me on that, they were in there like saying, hey, we got to get this fixed before the election. And they wanted free, you know, it was like a hacking thing. And these guys were on the left afraid that the right was going to use it. But then right after the election, all that's gone, and let's not talk about it anymore. Don't talk about that. Fannie Willis, she's going after the one person in this, the Georgia case. She's going after them for a tweet. But then you go look at her tweet, and she was like, when that pipe broke and everything, and she heard about it, she's like, oh, she thought the right was trying to pull something. She didn't know the left was doing it. So how interesting is that? And then she even called it out, but now she's charging other people. Why aren't you getting charged? All this is going to backfire on these people so bad. They're putting all their eggs in one basket. If Trump wins, they are going to go after everyone for this because they set the damn precedent. Like, if they actually convict that person and they set that precedent, it'll lose on appeal most likely, but now her life is a living hell. Now she has to go through all this, and she's the one who created it. She's like, no, it's a crime. It's like, well, you did the same thing. It's so weird. These people, like I said, it's like full panic mode. Well, her, it's like different because she wants to get reelected. She wants to get campaign money. She probably wants to run for governor based on this or something like that. But you're not worried about getting tied up for election interference? Because it's definitely looking like you can be charged for that. It's fascinating.
The source code for our voting machines should be open and available to the public for review.
Yeah, definitely.
In the time being, I'm not convinced any of our elections are legitimate in the sense. Everyone says everyone's always cheating. Dude, If you think elections are people coming out and saying, vote for me for this reason, and then the other guy be like, well, you should vote for me for this reason, and then everyone signs their name and then we count it, that's not how it works. It's dirty games. It has always been dirty games.
It's always been.
And it will continue to be dirty games.
Yeah, if you ever watch the Leo DiCaprio movie, what's that guy's name? Daniel Day-Lewis. He's in it too. Very, very, very good movie. Check it out. I don't want to like spoil anything in it, but in that movie, there's an election. And the people, they're just like shaving their beards. They're going in there. They go vote once and they shave their beard. Then they go in there. Then they go out and then they go to the barbershop again and they shave their head. So now they're bald. So that people just don't recognize them. And then they go and vote 3 times. And I'm just like, and this was made in 2002. This is kind of an older movie. Great movie though. It takes place in the 1950s, like during the Civil War in New York City. But yeah, they even captured that in that movie. Like even in the 1850s, there's always been dirty games in elections. So you need election security to make sure it doesn't happen.
Time. At least we can revel in the Democrats suffering under problems of their own making. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. on this.
Yep, exactly. It's like the left is shooting themselves in the foot, like I've been saying this whole segment. I think they're going to lose. What are they going to do? They can't go back on this, and they're not even trying to. They think that the whole woke left is like everybody, apparently, where real working class people, they vote on the left because that's what they like think they're supposed to do or whatever. But it's not working out for them. And they're seeing that, and the cities are getting overran, and they could see that Biden's not doing anything for them. So, and majority people have been coming farther to the right. More people have been coming out of the right anyway. So yeah, that Latino woman I mentioned earlier, she's a Republican from Texas, and now she was just like, I got a bunch of shade from people because like, no, Latina, you're supposed to vote for the left, but then she got brave and did it, and like they were saying on that report, maybe her bravery doing that will actually convince more people. Like, no, anyone can be on the right or the left, it doesn't matter. And I think that narrative that the left has always had, like, you know, the minorities vote for us, I think that's going away. And this is accelerating it like to a dramatic amount because they're like, okay, yeah, we've never really liked Democrats that much. What have they done for us? And then now that migrants are all over our sidewalks and everything, and why aren't they helping us out? So yeah, I think it's all going to backfire. 2024 should be very interesting to say the least, and the build-up is going to be very, very interesting. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for daily news updates, smash that like button, share this video with your friends, and share your thoughts on the story in the comments below. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.